Hi, guys. I figured we would sit and have a conversation because I just turned 30. And yeah, I guess we can catch up and talk about some things I asked you guys. What questions you had for me. So we'll get into that. But yes, I turned 30 on the 26th of August, Virgo season. And I was really excited about turning 30, to be honest. The whole year and probably some of the year before, I was like, you know what? I cannot wait to turn 30. My 20s were so hectic and just, I had an insane 20s. Like, there's just things that you guys don't even know that I went through in my 20s. And there's things that you do know that I went through in my 20s. And that alone is pretty hectic. And I think I was just ready to leave it behind and transition over to my 30s. However, like a week before my birthday, I was just so emotional every day, like boohoo crying the whole week leading up into like I didn't want to do anything. I literally just told my friends, my really close friends and family, like I just want to have a dinner with the people who love me and have been with me for this journey of my 20s and have dealt with all the shenanigans that I bought everybody during my 20s. And I think what I realized was that I was so excited to transition over and leave my 20s behind. But significant moments in my life happened in my 20s. I had a baby in my 20s. I fell in love in my 20s. I got my heart broken in my 20s. I went on TV in my 20s. I gained you guys as supporters in my 20s. I became a YouTube star in my 20s. I have had a lot of big moments in my 20s that I'm like super, super grateful for. And so, as excited as I was to leave behind the chaos of it, I also realized that there were a lot of great things that happened. And my life is so different now. I mean, I'm still doing YouTube, but I mean, the person I fell in love with is gone. I'm raising a baby on my own. Um, yeah, so it was just like it all hit me in a wave at one time. It was a mixture of I am so happy about the things that happened in my 20s and sad about some of it as well. But I'm most excited to take all the information, all the heartbreak, all the things I learned during motherhood, all the love I've had during my 20s, and apply it to my 30s because I think that everybody thinks at your 30s, like, here it is, like, life just gets better. When I think it's more about, okay, my 20s were this and this and this, and I have all of this extra information because of my 20s. And now I can use this information to move differently in my 30s. There's not some big transitional moment where all of a sudden your life is together. But it's like now I have more information. I've been studying for this amount of years and now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to put my big girl pants on and apply the things I've learned. My 30th birthday was good. I just had dinner with everybody close to me. There was nobody new around, nobody that I just partied with or met at a party. There were people who have genuinely been there for the journey. Because I was going through it, Brooke had my family to the cutest video ever. And I'm just so grateful. I think for as much chaos I have had in my life and as much as I can sit and dwell on all the bad things I have had, I don't want to get emotional. Y'all know I'm so emotional. I have had a really great support system along the way, whether it be you guys just asking me questions. Some of these questions are amazing. And I think it is a little bit of a therapy session for the both of us. I hope so. I think you guys love to hear me talk, and I love talking to you, whether it's my sisters or my mom, who I'm so close with. I mean, they were watching a lot. They were watching it go down between me and my baby daddy. Like, um, they went through a lot with me, and so I'm super grateful for everybody who came along this journey with me. You guys too. And yeah, let's go ahead and answer the questions. does your confidence and tough skin come from? Uh, I would say, not to sound conceited, but I have always been really pretty. Like, you know, how people have like an ugly face. I didn't have one. And maybe I could throw some pictures in here throughout the years. But yeah, I just have always been a really beautiful girl. My family has never been shy of like letting me know that. Like, I didn't have, when I'm with my mom and my cousins and we're together, none of them like are shy about letting me know how beautiful I was very early on. Again, everybody, I don't come from like a hating family. I didn't have like hater friends. Everybody remind me how beautiful I was. And I, obviously, my mom's black and my dad is white. So when was with my dad, my mom had primary custody, but the time we did spend with our dad, I was longboarding. I was cutting grass at the age of 7, gardening. I was playing hockey, waiting for the lakes to freeze over during the winter and going out on there, busting my face open. I have more scars than I can keep up with. And so I think it's just more of a balance. Like, I'm super tough and my mom is really tough. Like, if you see the women in my mom's family, I didn't really learn my assertiveness and dominance from a man. I learned it from my mom, her sisters, and that side of the family. The women on my mom's side of the family are so tough, and because they've had to be, life has forced them to be tough. And it was just watching them. Like, I don't come from a bunch of weak women. I come from really strong, knock you across the room if you open your mouth the wrong way kind of women. So yeah, I think it's just like the way I was raised and brought up, and my confidence is just that I'm not really a person who compares themselves to anybody. Like, obviously, I appreciate it when you guys compare me to Lori Harvey or whoever you guys think I look like that day of the week. But I think I have such a unique look. And so seeing other beautiful women doesn't make me question myself. I have the best of both worlds going on. I have beautiful hair with beautiful black features, beautiful tan skin. Like, look at the tan lines, you can see them. So I don't know. You just have to, and obviously, some days I have not felt the best, but I have gotten in a space where nothing around me is going to change the fact that I think I'm beautiful and that I have a prettier personality and that I'm funny. Like, there's so many factors that go into the fact that make me beautiful. And so I don't know. I'm just tough, rough, and very pretty girl. My parents did their big one. Thanks, parents. What is my biggest concern with six starting kindergarten? Obviously, school shootings scare the shit out of me. Like, after, like a week after he started school, there was a school shooting, and I literally called my mom and was like, "Can I just take him out and homeschool him? Because is the risk worth the reward? Like, he would learn so much more from a homeschool teacher than he would in a classroom of 19 kids." And my mom's like, "Well, no, they need those social skills. You picked a great school. There's police at the school. Like, just, don't stress yourself." Another thing that concerns me is that people's kids are mean. Like, to be fair, some people are raising really shitty children. And I grew up seeing people raise some really shitty children. I was picked on in school, but I was tough. I knew how to fight. So you pick on me, you're going to have more problems than what you're talking about. And I normally defend him. If we're at the park and somebody is being mean to him, I'm that mom that's like, you can just not play with my kid. Like, it's not that serious to us. Don't sit and be mean to my kid. I intervene. I don't play that. I'll even go tell the parents, like, you need to take your problematic child away somewhere. Because I think that crap is learned at home. Like, obviously, my dad was the way he was, and we went through a lot during our childhood with that. But that doesn't make me treat people poorly or, yeah, I can't stand bullies. So bullying is probably my biggest concern because, yes, I turned 30, but I hope I'm mature enough to where if I hear he's getting bullied, I'm like calm about it and not like, go and get your mama. Because every time you pick on my son, you're going to watch me drag her through these hallways until you get enough of picking on my son. So that part scares me because I don't know. if I can handle it. Once I get to crying, because I'm gonna cry, because he's such a sweet boy. Six is like the sweetest little boy ever. He's just not as tough as I was because he didn't have to be. I don't have him in environments where I was, where it was like fight or flight. And so that makes him just a little softer, which is good. I want him to be that way, but people's children suck. And that's the reality of it. Some people are not raising their kids to be good people because they don't know how, because they're not good people. And yeah, that's my concern. I'll be devastated if he gets bullied. I'm burning the world down for him. What was seven 5 years ago? Think about seven today. Seven 5 years ago probably would be so happy that I recovered from the chaos of being with Six's dad. And not to bring him down, but that situation really destroyed my confidence. If you guys remember, I was 135 pounds when he met me. And then by the time I left, I was only 120 pounds. And now I got my weight back. And I'm back up to 145 and I feel good and I look great. So I think 5 years ago, I was pregnant and crying every day and chasing this man around, begging him to love me. And now I can't even picture a life with him. And my confidence is at peak. So I think she would just be so happy that I made it through, because there were times where I really felt like it was the end of my world. And I know that sounds crazy, but it felt like that for me. Like I thought that I had to have this man, like, or I couldn't go on. So she would just be happy that I have my confidence back. My son is not seeing me crying all the time. I'm not screaming and yelling and trying to kill somebody or begging anybody to love me. I am just waking up, looking in the mirror, and it's just like, yeah, we're back. We're back. Was that TikTok? We are back. So she would be really happy. What would I tell 5 years ago about the journey of ahead? I would tell her it gets crazier. It got crazier. It's gonna get crazy. It is going to go up. It's gonna go down. It's gonna be a tornado of things. But I will say that heartbreak is not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. A boyfriend is not the first person that broke my heart. It's probably say my dad was. And we have made it through everything that was meant to break us or destroy us or just wasn't good for us. And I'm still going. I ain't going down without a fight. I never have and I never will. And yeah, that is an exciting journey to keep going on. How did you find yourself in heal? Mm, I'm not sure. I mean, I would definitely say I'm still in the healing process. I think it's a longer process than it seems, but it's better. It's a whole lot better than what it was. My mom would always tell me that like time heals everything, and that is really the truest statement ever. With time and the want to be better, there were times where I would like sit and sulk in my sadness and lay in bed all day. Now I get up. Like if I'm having a bad day, I make it my mission to get out of bed and go do something, because sulking only makes it worse. The biggest reason, obviously, why I heal is because I have a little person to take care of. And if I'm not 100%, I can't be 100% for him. And so that's big motivation for me. Not telling y'all to go have a baby because it is hard, but it does make me make me have to get out of bed. And so it helps. I think healing is just one of those things where understanding where you're at with it, right? So I wouldn't say I'm even close to the finish line of it, but I'm not at the beginning of it anymore. I'm like right smack dab in the middle of it. And that's progress. Like as long as you're making progress and not staying stagnant, you'll feel better. Staying stagnant, I think, is what had me feeling so terrible. I don't want to stay stagnant anymore. I never want to feel like I'm in the same place as I was the year before or the same mental state as I was before. So get up and move. Like, even when you think your life is falling apart, you got to get up. You have to keep going and you got to go through it. There is no way around it. You can try to avoid it. I have tried to avoid it with drinking and partying all last year. That didn't work. I have tried to avoid it with men. That didn't work. There is no avoiding it. You got to go through it and you got to get out on the other side. That's the simplest way put. We got to do it. Are you single? I know you guys are asking this because you did see me on a vacation with someone and heard them in the video. I am single. That did not work out. I don't know if I would call that a relationship. I would call it more of a situationship that we just couldn't figure out. The question after that was, why am I single? You know what I have learned, and this is a part of me processing and healing and having honest conversations with myself. One, when you're dating, you should know one thing: exactly what you want. What do you want your partner to look like, right? So I want a man that's family oriented and adventurous and has is open minded. He doesn't necessarily have to have the extensive taste in music that I have. Where 1 minute I'm listening to the NBA YoungBoy, and the next minute Third Eye Blind or Tracy Chapman is blasting through my speakers. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, because obviously I have grown up with the best of both worlds. So I'm a little more cultured than a normal person. But I want him to be open minded to just like exploring new things. I want him to be funny because I like to crack jokes. I want him to be emotionally intelligent because I'm extremely emotionally intelligent. Mm, I want him to want children. I want him to be smart, like an intelligent person, because I'm noticing these days that some people are just not intelligent at all. Um, I could go on a list, like, but I have sat down with myself and asked myself, like, what is it you want? And so when I meet certain people and they're not exactly what I want, because I'm no longer in that phase where I want to change people, because I think that's what I tried to do with Trevor. Obviously, I tried to conform him and change him. And essentially, that didn't make him happy either. Like, I'm basically telling you, you are not good enough how you are. Let me fix you. And Trevor liked how he was, even though I didn't think it was good. It worked for him. So you don't want to change anybody. You want to find your person as with all the qualities that you want, and then you guys work together to make the relationship work. Obviously, there's going to be some give and take, but trying to completely change and mold somebody into the person you want them to be is not going to make them happy in the long run. And it's not going to make you happy in the long run, because they can only keep up the facade for so long. Knowing what you want. So I know what I want in a husband and a man. And because of that, I don't take things so personal. And I've learned to compartmentalize things. So obviously, the situationship was hard for me to end, but only for about like a week, if I'm being honest. Because during the week when I was emotional about it and upset, by the end of the week, I had to ask myself, like, Seven, did he have any of the qualities that you wanted? And he had one. He was family oriented. So I ran with it. And that one was not enough to make me happy with him in a permanent relationship or in a marriage in the future, or to start a family with him. There was that one thing that I was constantly holding on to, like, but he's so good with his family, because that was the one of the things I didn't get from Six's dad. It was so hard to try to make him a family man, and then I had one, and so I wanted it, or I convinced myself that I wanted it, because that one thing is so important to me. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, no, that wasn't it. And as far as dating right now, I'm not really doing much of it. I'm not that interested in it right now. And it's mostly because I don't see any of those qualities in the men that are approaching me and the men that have been around me. And so, what's the point? I just don't see the point. So, if you don't take anything away from this video, as far as dating goes, know what you want before going into things because then they won't hurt so bad. You can just compartmentalize them. Like maybe that was just a friend that I needed at that time, and that's what that situationship was. I won't downplay it because I'm not bitter towards him or the way things ended. He was exactly what I needed at that moment. Obviously, we met a few months after Six's dad left, and I needed him in that moment, but he is not a permanent, he doesn't have a permanent spot with me. I don't have a permanent spot with him. And he would not have been good enough for me in the long run. Beyond that, another reason why I'm single is because I feel like as a beautiful woman, I'm punished a lot for being beautiful, if that makes sense. You know, men, there's this like thing that beautiful women are untrustworthy and liars and cheaters. Uh, if a person is untrustworthy or a liar or a cheater, it's just because that's just who they are. It doesn't matter if they're beautiful, if they're hideous, if they're decent, if they're a five, if they're a 10, if they're a one or a fucking zero. If you just are a cheater, an untrustworthy person, you're just that. Doesn't make a difference that you're beautiful. And so I feel like in every relationship I have ever been in my life, I have been punished for being beautiful. I'm kind of tired of it. I'm really really over it because to be fair, I am a really loyal person in a relationship, and I'm honest when I'm no longer committed to a person because especially if their actions cause it. Oh, I can't wait to tell you that, you know what, your actions are not of those who I'm going to be committed to. And so I'm out of here. You can still choose to date me, but just know I'm going to be dating other people. And yeah, I've just been punished for being beautiful. I have shared my location. I have tried to do all the things I could do to make that person, that situationship comfortable with being with me. And that still wasn't enough. And same with Six's dad. I stayed in the house. I didn't go out with my friends because he didn't like it. I tried so hard to conform to prove my loyalty when in reality, they should just date where they feel comfortable. I can't help the fact that I'm a beautiful person with a beautiful personality and a beautiful spirit, and I'm funny. And so, if you don't feel like you're good enough or deserving of all the things that I am, that's a personal problem. And it's also a problem with me too because these men will tell you that they don't deserve you in the way that they treat you. Do not get it twisted. If a man is cheating on you, it is probably not your fault. I have cooked, I have cleaned, I have done laundry, I have done anything that you can think of to keep a man. If a man does not feel like he deserves you, he is going to treat you poorly because he needs a way to make himself feel better. He has to keep you down, keep his foot on your neck, just so he can feel good about himself. And I am no longer tolerating that. I'm not dealing with it. Date in your class, your level, your whatever you feel like you deserve, date there. I'm no longer going to be punished because I'm a beautiful girl, because it is possible. I have been loyal. I will continue to be that way because nobody is going to change the way I've been. I'm not perfect, but when things do hit the fan and I have to move around, I'm honest about it. When Trevor caught me dating somebody else, like, well, what do you want me to say? I told you I was going to date other people. I'm not playing with you anymore. When the situationship hit his three strikes, I have a three-strike rule. Once you strike out three times, I'm just going to assume you don't care. And so I'm no longer putting effort into being loyal to you. I let him know, like, you have been playing in my face. And so now it's time for me to start dating again. I think it's quite simple, but I will no longer be punished for being beautiful and being outgoing and having a strong personality. Like, Find somebody that makes you comfortable, maybe a little less personality, maybe a little less beautiful, whatever it is, find that. Please stay away from me. But keep that in mind. They are creating warfare on us because we're strong and beautiful and all of those things. Don't let nobody dim your light. I ain't let nobody else dim my light. Don't let nobody dim your light, okay? Advice for a single mom that wants to get out and date. So I always say that I am not a single mom, and that pisses the internet off every time. I'm like, but why? Technically, I'm not. My mom had zero help. Her sister moved back to New York. My dad got us on the weekends. My sister's dads were never around. That is a single mom. She was doing every single thing alone. If you are doing every single thing alone, you are a single mom. My sister lives with me. My uncle lives in Miami. I have so much help. I can't consider myself a single mom, and that's not shade to single moms. I know I've watched what a real single mom looks like. Like it's struggle. I am not struggling to have help with my baby. I have so much help. So because I have so much help, I could fly to see my partner. I can go out if I want to have a night out. I can go to dinner. So I take my hats off to the single moms who really have to do it 24/7 by themselves. As far as dating as a single mom goes, it is very interesting. Obviously, I've only introduced Six to one person. That was the situationship. I was shocked. He was younger than me. Um, I was shocked to see how much he helped me with Six compared to his dad. And this is not a jab at his dad because his dad was around, but it doesn't necessarily mean he was helping. But he was so hands on that I'm grateful that I did introduce them. I don't have any regrets with introducing them because it showed me that there are hands-on dads. There are dads that help and don't just sit on the couch and watch you struggle all day. And he was so helpful, and I realized that I had been kind of ripped off. Like, dang, of all the baby daddies I could have had, like they help, And so I'm grateful for that part. The only thing that is, I would probably the downside to it is that now that we are separated, he hasn't talked to Six in a while, and obviously Six is asking for him. And so that's slightly devastating, but I think we both need time to kind of like let everything die down and get over it. And then maybe later we can come and be cool and like he can see Six. I think it's just whenever you feel like it's right. Okay, because you could wait a year to introduce him to someone and then that person ends up being shitty or doing something crazy. You could wait months or days, or it's just whenever you feel that it's right. And in my heart at that time, I felt like it was right. I had liked that boy so much and he was so nice. He was just great with Six and great with me. The way he handled me, I knew he would handle my baby properly. And so, yeah, it didn't work out, but I got great insight on what it should have been like with um what it should have been like with a man and his child, if that makes sense. Not to take away from the things that Trevor was to Six, because Six loves Trevor to death, but he just wasn't like very hands on. He'd just be there. We'd just be there together like all the time. But I really wouldn't have much help. And I had so much help with this younger boy who has no children and has no idea what it's like to raise somebody else's child at that. And so yeah, that was great to see. It really did warm my heart a lot that Six got those moments and that I got those moments in a healthier dynamic. But yeah, I don't know. It's just whenever the time feels right for you for dating and whenever the time feels right for you to introduce them, just be very careful. Our babies do not have any control over what we expose them to. So you have to be mindful. How did you find peace in all the chaos of BGC? You know what it was? what made me so quiet on there and so reserved is because my life has been chaotic from a very young age. I went through a lot, from the abuse to all the fighting I was doing. And so, because of that, I never intentionally put myself in chaotic situations. Like, if I know there's girls going somewhere and I don't like them or they don't like me and it could be a problem, I avoid those situations, not because I'm scared, but because why would I put myself in a chaotic environment? That's one example. If even like with men, if I'm dating somebody and I know he's gonna be at the club that night and I try to avoid it. I don't want to go around and see anything like, and not because I'm scared, but because I don't put myself in chaos because I know what real chaos feels like. And when you really grow up in chaos and you really understand how deep it can get and how bad it can get, you try to avoid it by any cause. And so with BGC, I didn't understand the thought process of placing myself into a chaotic environment. I was like, this don't make no sense. Like, why would I want to put myself in a chaotic situation? Like, baddies, like, why would I want to place myself in that environment? I know it's going to be insane. And, a lot of those girls, some, not all, didn't grow up the way I did. They didn't grow up fighting and in chaotic environments. Most of them grew up from healthy households, and the loudest ones are probably the ones that grew up in the healthy households and loving parents and never been through anything. The quieter ones are probably the ones who grew up in the chaos, because chaos doesn't excite you when you've been through it so much. It actually gets a little scary, because when that fight or flight kicks in for me, I don't know what I'm capable of doing. Like, obviously, stabbing my baby daddy was insane. I never thought that I would do that in my life. I never even threatened him with it. I just did it, and I was like, oh, this is not good. So that's how I heal from, like, that's how I avoid it and don't even, I didn't really need to heal myself from it or process it or find peace after it. I just naturally don't like to put myself in chaotic environments. It's never been my thing. How do you and your sister get along so well? This is crazy to me, because this is like, even when we're outside and around people, that is everybody's questions. Like, oh my God, you and your sister are so close. How? Me and my sister hate each other. Like, I can't even imagine that. Me and all of my sisters are really close. Like, and I don't know if it's just my mom. Like, obviously, we would fight and have our little problems. Rarely me and Brooke. Me and Brooke almost never fight. But my mom always taught us, like, if something happens to me, you four are all you guys are going to have. And so you need to love each other and take care of each other and have each other's backs no matter what. And that's just, it's, she didn't even have to say that a lot. Like, we just liked each other. I'm not sure. You know what it is? It comes down to respect. I respect my sisters a lot. I respect my mother a lot. Like, so I don't argue with them and curse at them and scream at them. When problems happen, and they have happened, it is just like, because we're not communicating, because we're at the point where we're already screaming at each other, and then we just say sorry the next day. Like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. There was a better way I could handle it. But I do know a lot of sisters who don't like each other, and it is shocking to me. And the older we get, the easier it gets for me. Like, when I notice Brooke is not having a so great day, I give her space, and she notices that I'm not having a good day. She gives me my space, and we leave each other alone. Like, I don't know how to help anybody with this question, because I don't get it personally. Like, even my cousins, when they go through it with each other, I'm like, y'all are sisters. Like, they'll go like months without talking to each other. And I'm like, hello. Like, if I didn't talk to my sisters for that long, I'd cry. But I'm really family oriented. So, which is why I need someone equally as family oriented as me. I don't know how to help with that. Fix it. Y'all are blood. There's nobody that's going to love you. And obviously, I have some blood that I stay away from, but there is nobody that has loved me like my sisters and my mother have. So we could not be talking to each other, and then something will pop off, and we're gonna be outside on the front line together till the day we die. And our kids are gonna be raised like that. Like, I'm not having that. My kids are not gonna be fighting and bickering, and going at it with each other. What is my favorite place I visited this year? I went to Qatar. It is a country in the Middle East. I've been to Dubai, but I went to Qatar and it was so beautiful. And I stayed somewhere so beautiful. It was honestly unreal. I barely even took any pictures or anything because it was such just one of those I want to take it all in. I woke up one morning because the houses, little hotel homes were on the beach, on a man-made beach, and I woke up for sunrise and went and sat and read a book on a random rock in the water. And I just had to take a moment to thank God that I was even soaking all of that in. So I'll say that Qatar is my favorite place that I've been all year. I went to Panama, that was okay. I went to Mexico, I went to Tulum, that was okay, but nothing topped Qatar for me. Is my heart open to receiving love? This was a really great question because that's just a good question. I will say my heart's always open to receiving love. I'm not one of those people who get their heart broken and shut down or turn evil or have my little villain era. I'll just be single during my villain era. So it's not really a villain era, but I never want to be so hurt or anybody to have that much power over me that I still don't go out and love people. And the world is getting so dark in that way where nobody wants to love anymore because they're scared or they don't know what's going to happen. So they try to beat the person to the punch. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to love people. Somebody has to keep loving people, even in all the chaos. And I just feel like, had I stopped loving and given up on it and just said, forget love, I don't want to do it, Trevor would have ruined the best part about me, is that I'm a lover. And he doesn't get to win in that way. He does not get to take away the thing he loved the most about me, the thing that people in my life love the most about me, is that I'm a lover. I love people and I'm always going to love people no matter what happens, because once you change negatively when someone does something to you, they win. Not gonna beat me. So I may have lost the battles, but I definitely won the war because I still get to love. I still love the exact same way. If not, I think I love a little more, which is weirdly enough. I'm not hitting anyone. I haven't put my hands on anybody. I'm just being loving and I'm being understanding and walking away when I can no longer be understanding. So, what do I do when Six asks for his dad? So, we had a little thing that bothered me recently. Six hadn't talked to his dad since his birthday. And as of like a few days ago, he did for the first time. I'm not sure what was going on at the jail. But when he got on the visit with his dad said, "Hey, Six, I haven't talked to you since your birthday. How was it?" And Six said, "Where were you? You should have been there." And that kind of really hurt my feelings because we went to Disney for his birthday. We had a great time. You guys saw the vlog. But there was nothing that would have that would have made me think he was thinking about him, or that something was missing for him during that weekend. He was having such a great time, as you guys can see from the vlog. And it it hurt me because I do not want him to internalize the way he feels about his, that he has to not ask, or he's just keeping it in because he's not sure if he's getting an honest answer, or just doesn't whatever it is. Like, I don't want him to be holding in the way he feels. He could have asked me that day, "Where's daddy? Why is he not at my birthday?" And I would have been open to telling him. I mean, obviously I've been telling him he's at work, which that was my question after. And now I have a question for you guys. Maybe you guys can help me or have some advice in that department. I've never been through this. And when is a good time to tell them that? I mean, obviously he's going to be gone for a significant amount of Six's life. And I don't want to talk about the ins and out of what's going on or numbers or anything like that. But Six will probably be almost an adult. And when is a good time to break the news to him that his dad's in jail and he won't see him for a while? it's, his dad feels like it's probably time. And how do I explain that to a 5-year old? Because I had asked him a few months before, like, what do you think jail is? And he said, it's where bad guys go. And obviously, I don't want Six to look at his dad as a bad guy, but the reality of the situation is what it is. And yeah, I'm just not sure. So I found like Elmo has like videos about like incarceration. So I think I'm gonna let him watch those for like the next few months, and then next year, when he like is grasping what these words mean, what incarcerated, what exactly jail is, like then tell him. But yeah, that really, really, broke my heart because it didn't seem like he was at want for anything. But obviously he wanted his dad. The next question was how me and Trevor's relationship. I hold no ill feelings towards Trevor for him cheating on me. The thing about this situation with Trevor is Trevor has been in and out of jail since he was probably 14 or 15. He is institutionalized. With all the information I have had and that I have now, there's no way I could have expected somebody who's that institutionalized to love me. They don't even know what that is at that point. So I don't take anything personal for me. I don't carry the cheating, the lying. It doesn't pop in my mind. It's not even when something happens in my situationship, I didn't go back to, oh my God, my baby. It doesn't affect me anymore. It's just something that happened to me. It's something that happens to the best of us. Where I do hold a lot of animosity is just that I understand that I had to change a lot of things when I decided to have a baby because I want to raise him. I don't want anybody to raise him. I want to be the one to take care of him and be there with him. And I think it's so unfortunate that he didn't love my kid enough to get his shit together. And that's where I hold a little animosity. And at some point, I have to get over that as well. But now my kid is suffering for sheer stupidity because we had it great. I mean, the money we were making as a YouTube family was ridiculous. Like I couldn't believe it my damn self. And so, yeah, I'm just so disappointed in the fact that how could you not love that little boy enough to want to stay with him? He is amazing. He is so perfect. He is so smart and so sweet. Sorry. And now he's going to suffer because of poor decision making. And so, whatever he did to me is long gone and just out of my brain. But what he did to my sweet boy, I probably will never forgive him for. Sorry about that. But obviously, I meant it. I've never been so hurt by Trevor than I am for what he put Six through. But yeah, if you have any advice on when's a good time to tell, how you guys have told, or how I should deliver it, if you've had a parent that's been incarcerated for a significant amount of time, how did it affect you? I would love to hear about it. Be a great conversation piece because I'm not the only woman going through this. There's a community of women and there's some men who have to raise their children alone because their significant other is gone. But yeah, let's change the subject because that one's hard. Okay, two more questions. The next one is how is motherhood? And I think motherhood is as beautiful as it is frustrating. One, because I think it's frustrating because I cannot protect him from pain. I can't take it for him. I can't avoid it. It's going to happen. It's happening. I can't protect him from bullies. I can't. It is so frustrating because I just want to protect him from the world, and the world is going to happen just like it happened to me, just like it happened to my sisters, my mom, just like it happens to you guys. And that's the frustrating part. I want to just hold him in my arms and protect him, and I can't. I really wish I could, but it's just not the reality of the situation. It's beautiful in the sense that, like I said, six is this. I have the sweetest kid ever. Like, I don't know how me and Trevor, two crazies, have managed to do it, but we did it. It is the only thing that we've ever done right between each other. And he's perfect. Like, I could not ask for a more beautiful spirit to grow up with. And so I'm so excited to do it. But I am so scared of the world. Not of him, just the world. He's going to be great. The world is really shitty. And the last question is, what is my next goal? So I have a few things that I'm working on that I don't want to talk about right now because it's in the works and there's other people involved. So I want to wait till contracts are signed and we're doing that. Other than that, I have a bikini line that I can't wait to start. It is so beautiful. You guys are going to love it. And beyond those two things, I want to go back to school. I cannot picture myself doing this for the rest of my life. I can't picture doing anything for the rest of my life besides caring for animals. And so I would love to get my technician's license so I can just be with animals my whole life. Like, I could work in a little office, I could still vlog it. You guys could see all the little beautiful animals. Or when I get my house with my chickens and my garden and my goats and pigs and dogs and horses, I can care for them myself because I'll be a vet. So those are the plans. I have three things that I really want to work towards: going back to school, my bikini line, and then this exciting new adventure that I'm getting ready to go into. But like I said, I'll talk about it when the time is right, when everything is moving and the ball gets to rolling. Don't want to speak things into existence prematurely, but yeah, I'm excited. I don't want to say too much. I'm just going to shut up. But thank you guys for talking to me. I love talking to you guys. It's so much fun. And you guys love hearing me talk. I wonder if this mic is going to sound really loud. I should have did a sound test. So maybe I could have talked a little lower, like ASMR style. Until next time.